When it hurts to begin, it's because life just ripped something from you. Maybe you lost someone. Maybe you failed so hard the shame sits in your chest like a brick. Maybe you woke up and realized the world you built has collapsed, and now the mirror feels like your enemy. But listen to me. Pain is not the end, it's the forge. Every wound you carry is a ticket into the version of you that doesn't break anymore. Starting again is not about waiting until you feel ready. You won't. You'll be tired, scared, and angry. And that's exactly when you move, because the world doesn't stop for your grief. It doesn't pause for your disappointment. The clock is running whether you sit in the dark or crawl toward the light. Starting again means refusing to let your story end in the middle. It's the fight to prove to yourself that nothing, no betrayal, no failure, no loss, can define your final chapter except you. You survived the worst day of your life already. Now you build from the rubble, not because it's easy, but because you refuse to be done. Pain is the catalyst for transformation, because nothing changes a human being more than the moments that break them. When life is comfortable, when everything is working, there is no real push to evolve. Comfort breeds stagnation, and stagnation kills dreams long before failure does. But when pain comes, whether it's the loss of someone you love, the collapse of something you built, the betrayal from people you trusted, or the crushing reality of your own mistakes, it doesn't politely knock. It kicks the door down and forces you to face yourself without the mask, without the distractions, without the illusions you've been hiding behind. Pain is honest. It strips you bare and shows you exactly where you're weak. And that's why it's the greatest teacher you'll ever meet. In those moments when you feel broken, something extraordinary happens beneath the surface. Pain cracks the shell of who you used to be and makes space for a stronger version of you to emerge. It forces you to reevaluate everything, your priorities, your habits, your values. It burns away the unnecessary, the fake, the shallow, and it leaves you with the raw truth of what actually matters. You can't learn resilience from comfort. You can't learn courage from ease. Those qualities are forged when life squeezes you so hard you think you can't breathe, yet somehow you keep breathing anyway. Pain is not the enemy, it's the signal that you're in a moment that can shape you forever. Think about every story of greatness you admire. None of them start with everything was easy and I succeeded without struggle. They all have chapters of darkness. They all have moments of being on the floor, questioning everything, doubting themselves, and wondering if they could go on. But those moments became the fuel. Pain gives you two choices. Let it break you permanently, or let it build you into something unrecognizable to your former self. The difference between people who stay broken and people who rise is not that the strong never hurt, is that they decided their suffering would not be wasted. They took that energy, that emotion, that rage at life's unfairness, and they redirected it into movement. Pain will make you ruthless with your time. It will make you value real connections over fake approval. It will force you to drop habits that were quietly killing you long before your crisis hit. It will make you chase strength, not because you want to impress anyone, but because you know how it feels to be weak and you never want to feel that way again. Pain wakes you up to the fact that nothing is guaranteed. Not people, not opportunities, not tomorrow. And that's what makes you start living fully today. But transformation through pain doesn't happen automatically. Some people let their pain consume them, replaying it until it becomes their entire identity. Others take that same pain and use it like a blade, sharpening their discipline, cutting away their excuses, carving out a new version of themselves. You decide which one you become. The truth is, without pain, you'd never push yourself far enough to see what you're really capable of. It's the struggle that builds depth in your character, power in your actions, and clarity in your purpose. Every scar you carry tells a story not just of what hurt you, but of what changed you. Pain doesn't ask for your permission. It arrives uninvited. But transformation, that's a choice. And when you choose it, you stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as the birth of your next chapter. That's when you understand that the worst days of your life were not the end of you. They were the beginning of who you were always meant to be. Action matters more than readiness, because if you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Readiness is a lie we tell ourselves to avoid the fear of starting. We convince ourselves that once the timing is perfect, once we've learned more, once the fear fades, then we'll move. But here's the truth. The fear never fully fades before you begin, and the timing will never be perfect. The people you admire didn't start because they were ready. They started because they refused to waste another day doing nothing. Action is what creates readiness. You don't become confident before you start. You become confident because you start. You don't gain clarity by sitting still. You gain it by moving, by failing, by adjusting along the way. Too many people spend years preparing and never actually execute. They live in the illusion of progress, reading, planning, imagining, while life passes them by. Meanwhile, someone with less knowledge, less skill, and less preparation takes imperfect action and wins. Why? Because reality rewards movement, not intention. The universe doesn't hand victories to those who dream about them. It gives them to those who chase relentlessly, even while trembling. You will never be able to predict every obstacle or control every outcome. The only way to learn the path is to walk it. That's why action matters more than readiness. It forces you into the arena where lessons are learned in real time. The experience you get from doing will teach you more than any amount of thinking, talking, or waiting ever could. Every second you hesitate is a second where doubt grows stronger and momentum fades. Action, even small, destroys hesitation. Action turns one day into day one. It transforms the unknown into the familiar, the intimidating into the achievable. And here's the hidden truth. By acting before you feel ready, you actually create an advantage over the ones still waiting. You learn faster, you adapt quicker, and you develop resilience that only comes from real-world punches. You might stumble, you might fail, but each time you get back up, you're building an unshakable foundation. People often ask, but what if I fail? You will. That's the point. Every failure is a stepping stone toward mastery. Failure in motion is infinitely more valuable than perfection in theory. The most dangerous place to be is in your head, where you convince yourself you're making progress when all you're doing is delaying. The road will never be fully clear before you step on it. Sometimes you have to walk into the fog and trust that the path will reveal itself one step at a time. You will learn the most important things in the middle of doing, not before it, and the person who acts, even clumsily, will always beat the one who's still waiting for a mythical moment of readiness. Action builds momentum, and momentum makes the impossible start to feel inevitable. Once you're moving, opportunities appear that you couldn't see from a standstill. People notice you, doors open, connections form, not because you are fully ready, but because you are visible, engaged, and committed. Readiness is an illusion. Action is real. Every breakthrough in history came from someone deciding to start before they had every answer. The only thing you truly need to begin is the willingness to take the first imperfect step. After that, the path changes you, the work changes you, the grind sharpens you, and soon you realize readiness wasn't something you needed to wait for. It was something you built along the way. Your ending is your choice, not your circumstances, because the world is full of people who faced situations far worse than yours and still rewrote their story. Circumstances can be brutal. They can knock you down without warning, strip you of everything you thought was secure, and leave you wondering if you'll ever recover. But they do not get the final word unless you hand it to them. Life doesn't ask for your permission before it delivers pain, loss, betrayal, or failure. It can be unfair, unpredictable, and merciless, but the truth is, those moments only define you if you decide to stop writing. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. The ending is still in your hands. The most dangerous thing you can believe is that your fate is sealed because of what has already happened. When you believe that, you surrender your power and your circumstances become a prison. But when you decide that your ending will be different, you take that power back. You start to move, to build, to push against the weight of your situation until you create space for a new life. The people who inspire the world are never the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who refused to let a bad chapter dictate their last page. They understood something vital. Your story is alive as long as you are. That means it can change. You can be bankrupt and still become wealthy. You can be heartbroken and still love again. You can be addicted and still get clean. You can be betrayed and still build trust. You can fail 1,000 times and still win. Circumstances are temporary. Choices are permanent. Every day you wake up, you're presented with the same question. Will you let what has happened define what will happen? Most people let their environment, their upbringing, or their setbacks dictate their limits. They say, I can't because, and fill in the blank, with every reason life has been unfair. But the truth is, the because is not the end of the sentence, unless you stop writing it. You can always add, but I will anyway. That shift changes everything. Choosing your ending means refusing to live as a victim. It doesn't mean denying that what happened hurt or pretending it was fair. It means refusing to let that hurt become the chain that keeps you from moving forward. It means saying, this is not how my story ends, and then acting in alignment with that belief. It means getting back up, even when no one expects you to, even when no one is watching, even when part of you wants to stay down because it's easier. Choosing your ending requires courage because it forces you to take responsibility. You can't control what life did to you, but you can control what you do next. And once you take ownership of that, your circumstances lose their power over you. The truth is, many people underestimate the time they have left to rewrite their lives. They think it's too late, that they've made too many mistakes, that they've wasted too many years. But as long as you are breathing, there's still ink in the pen. Your future is unwritten, and you hold the pen. You might not be able to erase certain events, but you can write a new context for them. You can turn your pain into purpose, your failure into fuel, your loss into perspective. The most powerful people are not the ones who've never been knocked down. They're the ones who kept getting back up over and over until their comeback was bigger than their setback. You can choose that. You can choose to be the person who surprised everyone, including yourself. You can choose to make your ending an example, a victory, a message that circumstances can bruise you but never break you without your consent. And when you live that way, your life stops being a story of what happened to you and becomes a story of what you decided to do about it. So here's the truth. Life will break you, but it will also hand you the hammer to rebuild. Pain is the fire that forges your strength. Action is the weapon that cuts through hesitation. And choice is the crown you place on your own head when you refuse to let your circumstances dictate your fate. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not the weight of your losses. You are the decision you make in this moment, right now, when no one else can make it for you. You can keep staring at the rubble, wishing things had been different, or you can start stacking bricks and building something greater than what was lost. The clock is still ticking, the pen is still in your hand, and the story isn't over unless you quit. So stand up, breathe deep, move forward before you think you're ready. Let your scars speak for you. They say, I was hit, but I'm still here. And if you're still here, then the fight is not done. Your ending is not yet written. Make sure it's the kind of ending that makes every wound, every setback, every sleepless night worth it. The choice is yours.